Imagine waking up every day feeling happy, peaceful, and full of energy. Picture yourself facing life's challenges with a calm mind and a strong heart. This isn't just a dream, it's what happens when you change your life spiritually. Spiritual change isn't about following strict rules or believing in certain things. It's about growing as a person, understanding yourself better, and feeling more connected to the world around you. The best part? Anyone can do it, and it can make everything in your life better. You might be thinking, that sounds nice, but is it really possible? The answer is yes. Changing your life spiritually is something you can start right now, and it doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, the simplest changes often make the biggest difference. Today, we're going to talk about how you can start this amazing journey. We'll look at why spiritual change matters, what might be stopping you, and the first steps you can take to transform your life. Let's talk about why changing your life spiritually is so important. Think about how you feel when you're stressed or worried. Maybe your heart beats faster, your mind races, and you can't relax. Now, imagine having a tool that helps you feel calm and centered, even when life gets tough. That's what spiritual growth can do for you. When you grow spiritually, you start to see the world differently. Little things that used to bother you don't seem so important anymore. You begin to understand that there's more to life than just work, money, and everyday problems. This new way of looking at things can make you feel happier and more at peace. One of the best things about spiritual growth is how it helps with stress. We all face stress every day, from work, family, or just the busy world around us. But when you're spiritually strong, you have better ways to deal with stress. You might learn to breathe deeply, to meditate, or to see challenges as chances to grow. This means you can stay calm and clear-headed even when things get tough. Spiritual change also makes life feel more meaningful. Have you ever felt like you're just going through the motions, doing the same things day after day without really knowing why? When you grow spiritually, you start to see the bigger picture. You understand your place in the world better, and you find purpose in what you do. This can make even ordinary days feel special and important. Another great thing about spiritual growth is how it affects your relationships. When you're more at peace with yourself, you tend to be kinder and more patient with others. You listen better, you're more understanding, and you're less likely to get angry over small things. This can make your friendships stronger, your family life happier, and even your work relationships smoother. Spiritual change can also help you make better choices. When you're more aware of yourself and what really matters to you, you're less likely to do things just because others expect you to. You start to live in a way that feels true to who you are. This can lead to better decisions about your job, your relationships, and how you spend your time. It's important to know that changing your life spiritually doesn't mean you have to change your beliefs or join a certain group. It's a personal journey that's different for everyone. Some people might find spiritual growth through nature, others through art or music, and some through traditional religious practices. The key is finding what works for you and what helps you feel more connected and alive. One of the most exciting things about spiritual growth is how it can spark your creativity. When you're more in touch with your inner self, you might find new ideas flowing more easily. Maybe you'll want to start writing, painting, or trying a new hobby. This creative energy can make life feel fresh and exciting, even if your daily routine stays the same. Spiritual change can also help you deal with difficult emotions like fear, anger, or sadness. Instead of being overwhelmed by these feelings, you learn to observe them without judgment. This doesn't mean you never feel bad, but it does mean you have better tools to handle tough emotions when they come up. Another benefit of spiritual growth is improved physical health. While it's not a replacement for medical care, many people find that as they grow spiritually, they naturally start taking better care of their bodies. You might feel motivated to eat healthier foods, exercise more, or get better sleep. This is because spiritual growth often leads to a greater appreciation for life and a desire to take care of yourself. Spiritual change can also help you become more resilient. Life will always have ups and downs, but when you're spiritually strong, you bounce back from setbacks more quickly. You learn to see challenges as opportunities for growth rather than as failures. This resilience can help you in all areas of life, from your career to your personal relationships. Lastly, changing your life spiritually can give you a sense of connection to something bigger than yourself. Whether you call it nature, the universe, or God, this feeling of connection can be very comforting. It helps you feel less alone and more supported as you go through life. Now that we understand why spiritual change is so important, let's talk about what might be stopping you from growing spiritually. These are called spiritual blocks, and everyone faces them at some point. The good news is, once you know what they are, you can start to overcome them. One of the biggest blocks is being too busy. In today's world, it seems like everyone is always in a rush. We have work, family responsibilities, social events, and endless to-do lists. With all this going on, it's easy to feel like you don't have time for spiritual growth. But here's the thing. Spiritual practices don't have to take a lot of time. Even 5 minutes of quiet reflection each day can make a big difference. It's not about having more time. It's about making the most of the time you have. Another common block is fear. Some people worry that if they start looking inside themselves, they might not like what they find. They might be afraid of facing old memories, negative thoughts, or difficult emotions. This fear can keep them from even starting their spiritual journey. But it's important to remember that spiritual growth isn't about judging yourself. It's about accepting yourself, including your flaws and mistakes, and learning to grow from them. Skepticism can also be a big block for many people. In a world that values science and concrete evidence, the idea of spiritual growth might seem silly or unrealistic to some. They might think it's all about believing in magic or following strict religious rules. But spiritual growth is really about understanding yourself better and finding meaning in life. It's a very personal journey that can be as practical or as mystical as you want it to be. Sometimes people are held back by past experiences. Maybe they had a bad experience with religion when they were younger, or they tried meditation once and found it boring. These negative experiences can make them reluctant to try again. But spiritual growth comes in many forms, and what didn't work for you in the past might not be the right approach for you now. It's worth keeping an open mind and trying different things until you find what feels right for you. Another block can be the influence of others. You might have friends or family members who don't understand your interest in spiritual growth. They might make fun of it or try to discourage you. This can make it hard to stay committed to your spiritual journey. Remember, though, that your spiritual growth is for you, not for anyone else. It's okay to keep some parts of your journey private if that feels right to you. Perfectionism can also get in the way of spiritual growth. Some people think they need to be perfect before they can start a spiritual practice. They might believe they need to meditate for an hour every day, or never have a negative thought, or always be kind to everyone. But spiritual growth isn't about being perfect. It's about progress, not perfection. It's okay to start small and to have bad days. What matters is that you keep trying. Impatience is another common block. In our fast-paced world, we're used to getting quick results, but spiritual growth is a lifelong journey. It takes time to see big changes, and progress isn't always obvious. Some people give up because they don't see results right away. But the truth is, small changes add up over time. Even if you don't notice a difference day to day, you might look back after a few months and realize how much you've grown. Sometimes people are blocked by a lack of guidance. They might want to grow spiritually but don't know where to start. There's so much information out there, and it can be overwhelming. But remember, you don't need to know everything to start. Begin with something simple, like taking a few deep breaths each morning, and build from there. As you go along, you'll find resources and maybe even people who can guide you. Attachment to outcomes can also be a spiritual block. Some people start their spiritual journey with very specific goals in mind. Maybe they want to be happy all the time, or they want to solve all their problems. When these things don't happen quickly, they get discouraged. But spiritual growth isn't about reaching a specific destination. It's about the journey itself and being open to where that journey might take you. Lastly, self-doubt can be a major block. You might think that spiritual growth is for other people, not for you. Maybe you believe you're not smart enough, or good enough, or spiritual enough to change your life in this way. But the truth is, spiritual growth is for everyone. You don't need any special qualities or knowledge to start. All you need is a willingness to look inside yourself and a desire to grow. Understanding these common spiritual blocks is the first step to overcoming them. Remember, everyone faces obstacles on their spiritual journey. What matters is not that you never face blocks, but that you find ways to move past them. In the next part of our talk, we'll look at some practical steps you can take to start your spiritual journey, no matter what blocks you might be facing. Now that we've talked about why spiritual growth matters and what might be stopping you, let's dive into the first big step you can take: making time for quiet. In our noisy world, finding quiet time might seem hard, but it's one of the most powerful things you can do for your spiritual growth. Quiet time is just what it sounds like: time you spend alone, in silence, away from the noise of everyday life. It's not about doing nothing. It's about giving yourself space to think, feel, and just be. When you're always busy and surrounded by noise, it's hard to hear your own thoughts and feelings. Quiet time lets you listen to yourself. You might be wondering, how do I start with quiet time? The good news is you don't need anything special. You don't need to sit in a certain way or say any special words. All you need is a few minutes and a quiet place. Start small. Even 5 minutes a day can make a big difference. Find a comfortable spot where you won't be disturbed. This could be a corner of your bedroom, a quiet park, or even your car. if that's the only place you can find peace. Sit or lie down in a way that feels comfortable. Close your eyes if you want to. Then just breathe. Pay attention to your breath going in and out. If thoughts come into your mind, that's okay. Just notice them and let them go, like clouds floating by in the sky. At first, sitting in silence might feel strange or uncomfortable. You might feel restless or bored. Your mind might start racing with all the things you need to do. This is normal. Don't get frustrated or give up. Just keep coming back to your breath. Over time, it gets easier. As you practice quiet time, you might start to notice things about yourself. Maybe you realize you're carrying stress in your shoulders, or you notice feelings you've been ignoring. This is good. It means you're becoming more aware of yourself. This awareness is a big part of spiritual growth. Some people like to use this quiet time for prayer or meditation. Others just sit and think. Some people find it helpful to write in a journal after their quiet time. There's no right or wrong way to do it. The important thing is that you're giving yourself this time regularly. You might be surprised at what happens when you make quiet time a habit. Many people find they feel calmer and more centered throughout the day. They might handle stress better or feel more creative. Some people even find solutions to problems during their quiet time, just by giving their minds space to work. Remember, quiet time isn't about achieving anything. It's not a task to check off your list. It's about creating space in your life for spiritual growth to happen. It's a gift you give yourself, a chance to step back from the busyness of life and connect with your inner self. As you get more comfortable with quiet time, you might want to extend it. Maybe you'll work up to 10 minutes or 20 or even more, but don't worry if you can't do that. Even a few minutes of quiet time each day can make a big difference in your spiritual growth. Now, let's talk about another powerful tool for spiritual growth: gratitude. Gratitude means being thankful for the good things in your life. It might sound simple, but practicing gratitude can change the way you see the world and boost your spiritual growth in amazing ways. When we talk about gratitude, we're not just talking about saying thank you when someone does something nice for you. We're talking about actively looking for things to be grateful for every day. This could be big things, like having a home or people who love you. But it can also be small things, like a delicious cup of coffee or a beautiful sunset. Why is gratitude so important for spiritual growth? Well, when you focus on what you're grateful for, you start to notice more good things in your life. It's like you're training your brain to look for the positive. This doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. It just means balancing out the negative things we all face with an appreciation for the good things. Practicing gratitude can change how you feel about your life. When you're always thinking about what's wrong or what you don't have, it's easy to feel unhappy or stressed. But when you regularly think about what you're grateful for, you tend to feel happier and more content. This positive feeling can give you more energy for your spiritual journey. Gratitude can also help you connect with others. When you appreciate the people in your life, you're more likely to show them kindness and love. This can strengthen your relationships and create a sense of connection, which is an important part of spiritual growth. So how can you start practicing gratitude? One simple way is to start a gratitude journal. Each day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big things. Maybe you're grateful for the warm sun on your face, or for the friend who called to check on you, or for the tasty dinner you had. The important thing is to take a moment to really feel grateful for these things as you write them down. Another way to practice gratitude is to share it with others. Try telling someone what you appreciate about them. This could be a family member, a friend, or even a coworker. Not only does this spread positive feelings, but it also helps you notice and appreciate the good qualities in people around you. You can also practice gratitude by simply pausing throughout your day to notice good things. Maybe when you're eating, you take a moment to appreciate the food. Or when you're outside, you pause to feel grateful for the fresh air. These little moments of gratitude can add up to big changes in how you see the world. Some people like to make gratitude a part of their quiet time. Before or after you sit in silence, you might think of a few things you're grateful for. This can help set a positive tone for your quiet time and for the rest of your day. It's important to remember that practicing gratitude doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. You can be grateful and still acknowledge difficulties in your life. In fact, sometimes practicing gratitude can help you find the strength to face challenges. You might be grateful for the lessons you learn from hard times or for the people who support you when things are tough. As you make gratitude a regular part of your life, you might notice some changes. You might find yourself complaining less and appreciating more. You might feel more content with what you have, instead of always wanting more. You might even notice that good things seem to happen to you more often, not because your luck has changed, but because you're noticing the good things that were always there. Gratitude can be especially powerful when you're going through hard times. It might seem difficult to find things to be grateful for when life is tough, but often it's during these times that gratitude can help the most. Even if you can only think of one small thing to be grateful for, focusing on that can help you stay positive and keep growing spiritually. Remember, like any spiritual practice, gratitude takes time to become a habit. Don't worry if you forget sometimes or if it feels forced at first. Keep practicing, and over time, you'll find that gratitude becomes a natural part of how you see the world. This shift in perspective can be a huge boost to your spiritual growth. Now that we've explored quiet time and gratitude, let's talk about another powerful way to grow spiritually, helping others. You might be wondering, how does helping others help me grow? Well, when you reach out to help someone else, you're not just making their life better. You're also nurturing your own spirit in amazing ways. Helping others is about more than just doing good deeds. It's about connecting with people, showing compassion, and making a positive difference in the world. When you help others, you step outside of your own problems and concerns for a while. This can give you a fresh perspective on your own life and help you feel more connected to the world around you. One of the great things about helping others is that it can take many forms. You don't have to do big, dramatic things to make a difference. Small acts of kindness can be just as powerful. Maybe you help a neighbor carry their groceries, or you volunteer at a local food bank. Maybe you simply take the time to really listen when a friend needs to talk. All of these are ways of helping others. When you help someone, you might notice that you feel good afterward. This isn't just a nice side effect. It's actually an important part of spiritual growth. Helping others can boost your mood, reduce stress, and give you a sense of purpose. It reminds you that you have the power to make a positive impact on the world, no matter how small. Helping others can also teach you important spiritual lessons. When you reach out to people who are different from you or who are going through hard times, you learn empathy and compassion. You start to see the world from different perspectives. This can broaden your understanding of life and deepen your spiritual growth. Sometimes helping others can be challenging. You might face situations that make you uncomfortable or that test your patience. But these challenges can also be opportunities for growth. They can help you develop strength, resilience, and understanding. Remember, spiritual growth isn't always easy, but it's always worthwhile. One simple way to start helping others is to look for opportunities in your daily life. Maybe you notice a coworker who seems stressed and offer to help with their workload. Or you see an elderly person struggling with a heavy door and hold it open for them. These small acts might seem insignificant, but they can brighten someone's day and help you feel more connected to the people around you. If you want to do more, you might consider volunteering. Many organizations need help, from animal shelters to food banks to community centers. Volunteering regularly can give you a sense of purpose and help you feel part of something bigger than yourself. It's also a great way to meet like-minded people who share your values. Helping others doesn't always mean doing things for them. Sometimes the most helpful thing you can do is simply be there for someone. Practice being a good listener. When someone is talking to you, give them your full attention. Try to understand how they're feeling without judging or trying to fix their problems. This kind of emotional support can be incredibly valuable. Remember, helping others isn't about being perfect or solving everyone's problems. It's about doing what you can with what you have where you are. Even if you can't fix a situation, showing that you care can make a big difference to someone. As you make helping others a regular part of your life, you might notice some changes in yourself. You might feel more grateful for what you have. You might find it easier to put your own problems in perspective. You might even discover new skills or interests you didn't know you had. Helping others can also help you feel more connected to your community and to the world at large. When you work together with others towards a common goal, you create bonds and build a sense of belonging. This feeling of connection is an important part of spiritual growth. It's important to remember that while helping others is good, you shouldn't neglect your own needs. Make sure you're taking care of yourself too. If you're feeling overwhelmed or burned out, it's okay to take a step back. Remember, you can't pour from an empty cup. Taking care of yourself allows you to keep helping others in the long run. As you continue on your spiritual journey, try to make helping others a regular part of your life. Whether it's through small daily acts of kindness or more structured volunteering, reaching out to others can be a powerful way to grow spiritually. It reminds us that we're all connected and that even small actions can make a big difference in the world. Now that we've explored helping others, let's talk about another important aspect of spiritual growth: learning and reading. Feeding your mind with new ideas and knowledge can be a powerful way to grow spiritually. It's like giving your spirit food to help it grow strong and healthy. When we talk about learning for spiritual growth, We're not just talking about studying religious texts, although that can be part of it for some people. We're talking about exploring ideas that make you think deeply about life, the world, and your place in it. This kind of learning can come from many different sources. Books are a great place to start. There are so many books out there about spirituality, personal growth, and wisdom from different cultures. You don't have to read heavy philosophy books if that's not your thing. Look for books that speak to you, that make you feel inspired or curious. Maybe it's a book of daily meditations or stories about people who've overcome challenges or explorations of different spiritual traditions. Remember, you don't have to agree with everything you read. In fact, reading ideas that challenge your current beliefs can be a great way to grow. It helps you think critically and decide what really resonates with you. The goal isn't to find a book that tells you exactly what to think, but to find books that make you think for yourself. If reading isn't your favorite thing, don't worry. There are lots of other ways to learn. Podcasts can be a great source of spiritual wisdom. You can listen while you're driving, doing chores, or just relaxing. Look for podcasts about mindfulness, personal growth, or spiritual topics that interest you. Watching documentaries or educational videos can also be a great way to learn. There are many well-made documentaries about different spiritual traditions, the wonders of nature, or the mysteries of the universe. These can spark your curiosity and give you new perspectives on life. Taking classes or workshops can be another great way to learn. Many community centers, libraries, or spiritual centers offer classes on topics like meditation, yoga, or different spiritual practices. These can be great opportunities to learn new skills and meet like-minded people. As you explore new ideas, it's important to take time to reflect on what you're learning. After you read a book or listen to a podcast, take a few minutes to think about what stood out to you. What ideas resonated with you? What challenged you? How might you apply these ideas in your own life? This reflection helps you integrate what you're learning into your spiritual growth. Remember, learning for spiritual growth isn't about memorizing facts or trying to know everything. It's about staying curious, keeping an open mind, and always being willing to grow. It's okay if you don't understand everything right away. Spiritual growth is a lifelong journey, and there's always more to learn. As you make learning a regular part of your spiritual practice, you might notice some changes. You might find yourself thinking more deeply about life. You might become more open-minded, more willing to consider different perspectives. You might even find that you have more interesting conversations with others as you share what you're learning. Learning can also help you understand yourself better. As you explore different ideas and perspectives, you might gain new insights into your own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. This self-understanding is a crucial part of spiritual growth. Don't feel like you need to spend hours every day studying. Even setting aside 15 minutes a day to read or listen to something inspiring can make a big difference over time. The key is consistency, making learning a regular part of your life. As we continue on our journey of spiritual growth, let's talk about something that can make a big difference. Finding your tribe. When we say tribe, we're not talking about a specific group or organization. We're talking about finding people who support your spiritual growth and share your values. Having a supportive community can be incredibly powerful for your spiritual journey. When you're around people who understand what you're trying to do and why it matters, it can give you the strength and encouragement to keep going, even when things get tough. Your spiritual tribe might look different from someone else's, and that's okay. For some people, it might be a religious community. For others, it might be a meditation group or a book club that focuses on spiritual topics. It could even be a group of friends who are interested in personal growth and self-improvement. The important thing is that these are people you feel comfortable with, people you can be honest with about your spiritual journey. They should be people who inspire you to grow and who support you when you're struggling. Finding your tribe might take some time and effort. You might need to try out different groups or communities before you find one that feels right. Don't get discouraged if the first group you try doesn't feel like a good fit. Keep looking. One way to start finding your tribe is to look for local groups or meetups related to your spiritual interests. Many communities have meditation groups, yoga classes, or discussion groups focused on spiritual topics. Attending these can be a great way to meet like-minded people. Online communities can also be a great resource, especially if you live in an area where it's hard to find in-person groups. There are many forums, social media groups, and online communities dedicated to spiritual growth. These can be great places to connect with people from all over the world who share your interests. Remember, your spiritual tribe doesn't have to be a formal group. It might just be a few close friends who are also interested in spiritual growth. The important thing is that you have people you can talk to about your spiritual journey, people who understand and support what you're trying to do. Being part of a spiritual community can help you in many ways. It can give you new ideas and perspectives. It can provide encouragement when you're feeling stuck or discouraged. It can give you opportunities to practice compassion and kindness. And it can remind you that you're not alone on this journey. However, it's important to remember that while a community can support your growth, your spiritual journey is still your own. Don't feel like you have to agree with everything your community believes or does. It's okay to question things and to follow your own path. A good spiritual community will respect your individual journey. As you find and connect with your spiritual tribe, you might notice some changes in yourself. You might feel more confident in your spiritual practice. You might be more motivated to keep growing and learning. You might even find that your relationships in other areas of your life improve as you become more connected and authentic. Remember, building connections takes time. Don't feel like you need to find your perfect spiritual tribe overnight. Be patient with yourself and with others. Keep an open mind and an open heart, and trust that you'll find the right community for you. As we near the end of our discussion on spiritual growth, it's important to talk about something that everyone faces on this journey: challenges. Growing spiritually isn't always easy. There will be times when you face obstacles, doubts, or setbacks. But these challenges are not roadblocks. They're opportunities for growth. One common challenge is consistency. It's easy to feel inspired and motivated when you first start your spiritual journey. But over time, you might find it hard to stick to your practices. Maybe you miss a few days of quiet time, or you forget to practice gratitude. This is normal. The key is not to get discouraged. If you miss a day or even a week, just start again. Remember, spiritual growth is a lifelong journey, not a race. Another challenge many people face is doubt. You might start questioning whether your spiritual practices are really making a difference. You might wonder if you're doing things right. Remember, there's no one right way to grow spiritually. It's okay to have doubts. In fact, questioning can be a healthy part of growth. When you have doubts, try to approach them with curiosity rather than fear. Sometimes, the people around you might not understand or support your spiritual journey. This can be really tough, especially if it's family or close friends. Remember, you don't need everyone to understand what you're doing. It's okay to keep some parts of your spiritual life private if that feels right to you. Focus on the supportive people in your life and remember why this journey is important to you. Life changes can also present challenges to your spiritual growth. Maybe you start a new job with a busy schedule, or you move to a new city, or you have a major life event like getting married or having a baby. These changes can disrupt your spiritual routines. When this happens, be gentle with yourself. It's okay to adjust your practices to fit your new circumstances. The important thing is to keep spiritual growth as a priority, even if the way you pursue it needs to change. Sometimes you might feel like you're not making progress. You might feel stuck or like you're going backwards. This is a normal part of any growth process. Growth isn't always linear. Sometimes you might take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. When you feel stuck, it can help to reflect on how far you've come. Look back at where you started and notice the changes you've made, no matter how small. Another challenge can be feeling overwhelmed. There's so much to learn and so many practices you could try. You might feel pressure to meditate for hours, read all the spiritual books, and transform your life overnight. Remember, spiritual growth is not about doing everything at once. It's about making small, consistent changes over time. Focus on 1 or 2 practices that resonate with you and do them well, rather than trying to do everything. Sometimes, spiritual growth can bring up difficult emotions or memories. As you become more self-aware, you might confront parts of yourself or your past that are uncomfortable. This can be scary, but it's also an opportunity for healing and growth. If you find yourself dealing with strong emotions or past traumas, don't hesitate to seek help from a therapist or counselor. They can provide support and guidance as you navigate these challenges. Remember, challenges are not signs that you're failing or that spiritual growth isn't for you. They're normal parts of the journey. In fact, often the biggest challenges lead to the most significant growth. When you face a challenge, try to approach it with curiosity. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this help me grow? It can also help to remember why you started this journey in the first place. What drew you to spiritual growth? What changes have you noticed in yourself? Keeping your motivation in mind can help you push through difficult times. Lastly, don't forget the power of your spiritual practices when facing challenges. When things get tough, that's often when we need our spiritual tools the most. Lean into your quiet time, practice extra gratitude, reach out to your spiritual community for support. These practices can give you strength and perspective to face whatever challenges come your way. As we come to the end of our exploration of spiritual growth, let's take a moment to reflect on the journey we've discussed. We've talked about the power of quiet time, the transformative effect of gratitude, the joy of helping others, the importance of continuous learning, the support of finding your tribe, and the growth that comes from overcoming challenges. Remember, spiritual growth is not about reaching a final destination. It's about the journey itself, a journey of self-discovery, inner peace, and connection to something greater than ourselves. It's a path that can bring more meaning, joy, and purpose to your life. As you start or continue your own spiritual journey, be patient with yourself. Growth takes time, and everyone's path is unique. There will be ups and downs, moments of clarity and moments of confusion. But each step, each practice, each challenge overcome is part of your growth. Don't feel like you need to implement everything we've discussed all at once. Start with 1 or 2 practices that resonate with you. Maybe begin with 5 minutes of quiet time each day, or writing down 3 things you're grateful for before bed. As these practices become habits, you can gradually add more. Remember that spiritual growth is deeply personal. What works for someone else might not work for you, and that's okay. Trust your own intuition and experiences. Be open to trying new things, but also honor what feels right for you. As you grow spiritually, you might notice changes in many areas of your life. You might find yourself feeling more peaceful, more compassionate, more connected to others and to the world around you. You might handle stress better or find more joy in everyday moments. But even if you don't notice big changes right away, trust that your efforts are making a difference. Every moment you spend in quiet reflection, every act of kindness, every new idea you explore is shaping you in subtle but powerful ways. Remember, the goal of spiritual growth isn't to become perfect or to have all the answers. It's about becoming more fully yourself, more aware, more alive. It's about connecting with the deepest parts of yourself and with the world around you. As you continue on your spiritual journey, keep an open mind and an open heart. Stay curious, stay compassionate with others and with yourself. And remember, no matter where you are on your path, you have the power to grow, to change, to become more of who you truly are. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of spiritual growth. May your journey be filled with discovery, growth, and joy. Remember, every step you take on this path is valuable. You're not just changing your own life. You're contributing to the spiritual growth of the world around you. Keep growing, keep shining, and keep sharing your light with the world.